I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Like, yeah, just go ahead. I'm a horrible YouTuber. Okay, so I'm back. I'm going to go ahead and wait for you guys to get here. I'm sorry about that. So my husband was calling about pizza. So, Faith, I'm so sorry, girl. I know I'm a terrible YouTuber, you guys. Oh, Lord. So I got 2 freaking live streams going. Okay, so which one am I on right now? Okay. That one we can take down. So welcome back to the stream, you guys. I'm so sorry about that. Like, this is why I'm saving up for a camera, guys. Delete that one. I'm saving up for a camera, and I'm working really hard on, you know, trying to do that so that way we can have like a better setup here and all that kind of stuff. And after the first of the year, I don't have a laptop. I have a big like PC, like a computer room with a regular computer. Hey, Sherry. Welcome everybody to the stream. Leah, Faith, thank you guys so much for being here. So what I want to talk about today, first of all, my name is Nicole and I'm a recovering drug addict. I'm a poly drug addict. I abuse multiple substances, but my drugs of choice were methamphetamine, roxycodone, and Xanax and alcohol, IV. I've been sober since July 13th of 2015, but I also utilize medically assisted treatment. And I'm going to be tapering in January, and I will be totally recording my experience with that. So if you guys are on medically assisted treatment and you want to see someone go through the taper and see how I do it, because I'm going to do everything step by step with my doctor. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Give this video a thumbs up. If you have friends who are in active addiction or in recovery that need support, bring them over to the channel. Like, this outlet for me on YouTube has been one of the most amazing support systems I've ever had in my life. Like, I absolutely love it, you guys. It's the bomb. But so the plan, like, for my channel is to keep growing the channel and eventually get a new camera, because I'm on my phone right now. And then, like I said, in January, I'll start my taper, and I'm going to do it with you guys. You guys are going to get to see me go through that process. So I wanted to talk to you guys about being addicted during the holidays and what it was like for me when I was in my active addiction. During Christmas and Thanksgiving and even birthdays for my family. And so I wanted to share with you guys a little bit of my experience from my past. And then I also want to talk to you guys about what it's like for me now.
Mommy?
Yeah?
Is there any volume on this thing?
Okay, will you, there you go. Be real quiet, okay? I'm on the thing. So, we're going to go back to active addiction, Nicole. So my sobriety date is July 13th of 2015. So we're going to go back to about 2010, okay? This was about when my addiction really started to take off, and I started to get to the point where I was out of control. I was I was shooting methamphetamine, and I was IV shooting roxycodone and anything else, a lot of cocaine. And so I was constantly in this like manic state. If you would see me from the outside looking in, you would think that I was bipolar, because of the way I was manic all the time, because I would be really, really high and then I would go really, really low. And it was because I was abusing stimulants and a lot of methamphetamine, a lot of cocaine. And then to balance myself out, I would shoot up roxycodone to try and bring myself down. So I was constantly in this like drug psychosis, right? Well, in 2010, I just got released from prison, and I went to prison at this place called RPF. And what it is it's a boot camp style prison. It is a, it's kind of like behavioral therapy kind of prison, where they are trying to teach you they call it TC, okay? Therapeutic community is what it's called. But it was not therapeutic at all. So I just gotten released from prison, and I was living in the halfway house here in Little Rock. And so,
Mommy?
Nathaniel. So I was living in the halfway house. What?
Can you go get my chocolate milk downstairs?
No. So I was living in the halfway house down here in Little Rock, and my parents were like inviting me up here to their house to eat, right? And so when I was living in the halfway house, I think I made it 9 months, and then I relapsed. So I was in a relapse. My parents have no idea. I'm getting high. I'm supposed to be living in the halfway house doing the next right thing, and I'm sliding under the radar, you guys, like relapse, you know?
I just want you to put...
Nate, go grab your chocolate milk. Go.
I'm gonna put it in a sippy cup.
So I remember my parents invited me to Christmas because, of course, they hadn't seen me in a year, and they were so excited to have me over. And usually, like, I would look forward to going to see my parents, but not when I was high. So this one Christmas, the one I'm talking about right now, I was so skeezed out, you guys. Like, I was just sick with it. And so I went up to Hot Springs to be with my family. And I remember walking in the house, because me and my sisters are so close. And my mom, because you guys saw my sisters over there on Christmas, Thanksgiving, when I brought you guys with me. So I remember walking in, and my sister Michelle is like, come here. Because you don't even have to, like, take a glance. You can just see me. My eyes are as big as saucers. My neck is beet red. Because whenever I would get high like that, my blood pressure would go up. So my neck would be all red and hot. My cheeks would be flushed.
I'm just feeling if I stood up.
Baby, just drink it with a straw. You can do it. You're a big boy. So, I remember being so afraid that my mom was going to know that I was under the influence. And I was so ashamed, you guys. I was so ashamed. And so I went in, and I remember my sister trying to help me to, like, eat my food. And kind of like I would take a bite of the turkey, and then I would slide it over to her plate. It was just a whole big mess, you guys. And my dad always knew. And my dad would ask me over and over again, why don't you just quit? Why do you have to do this to yourself? Do you want to die? You know, and he would ask me that over and over again. And I was really close with my dad, you know, with both of my parents, really. But my dad was like, I have always looked up to my dad so much. He has such a strong work ethic. He is such a good person. He's got a huge heart. We are so much alike. We're so much alike. And so when my dad would ask me, like, why didn't I just quit? It would make me so upset, you guys. And so after that Christmas, I started to actually, like, try to skip out on Thanksgivings and Christmas until I got sober. When me and Neil started dating, we would go up there together, and that would help kind of, like, break up the shame, I guess, because I would have him to kind of, like, be there to talk with my parents and kind of distract them from looking at me all the time. But now it's like I went from basically like living on people's couches, being at other people's houses for Christmases, and not having any kind of Christmas tree, no lights, no presents. Just, you guys know what I mean? Like when you're in your addiction and you don't even have the ability to get yourself like Christmas presents or lights for your house. Or, yes, my parents always knew, and they would always, I just know now that I look back on it, I think about how much that must have hurt them. And I think about how scared I would be if that was my son. Like if Nate was doing that. And like now, my mom called me today while I was at work. And she was like, what are you going to bring to the brunch that we're having? Because we're having Christmas brunch at my mom's house. And I was telling her I was going to bring a fruit bowl, right? And I just started crying because I remember when I couldn't even...
Don't cry.
My parents could not even ask me to bring anything, you guys, because I could not do it. I was unable to do regular things like bring a fruit bowl to Christmas dinner. But now, let me just share with you guys what it's like now. I have Christmas presents underneath my tree for my little boy. I have an elf on the shelf that is doing the splits on our Christmas tree. I have a gift for my mother-in-law, you know? Like, and I was never able to do those things before. And it's like, all that shame that I felt, like, I remember how that felt. It felt awful to feel like that. I was watching Tawny Michelle's video today, you guys, because Classy Bitch told me to go check it out. And so I was watching her video about addiction and how addicts' minds work. And I felt like, you know, I never wanted my parents to think that, like, I didn't want to be with them for Christmas or I didn't want to be around them, because that's not what it was. It was that I was so sick and I was so ashamed and I was so embarrassed. Sam, you are so lucky that you have your mom to be there for you, girl, because my mom was like, my mom kicked me out and I had nowhere to go. Do you guys realize that, like, in 2012, right before I met Neil, I was asking customers at Kroger that I was waiting on if I could sleep on their couches because I had nowhere to live. I was living with this man named Mr. Lawrence. They kicked me out, and then I had nowhere to live. And now when I look back on it, I realize, like, I was addicted during the holidays because I was selfish. Because I didn't care about getting sober for the holidays or even getting sober for any day. All I cared about at that time, all I could see, it was like tunnel vision when you're on drugs. Hey, Jamie. It's like when you get hooked on drugs, and especially opiates that you become dependent on, it's like you only have vision for the one thing. Hey, nicely done. I'm so glad you're here. You have tunnel vision, and the only thing you can see is your drug of choice. You know, and the thing about it is, it's like, Sam, we can, like, think about how we have to pay our families back and how we have to make them proud. But listen to me. First of all, we have to pay ourselves back. We have to make ourselves proud. We have to do this for us. You know what? When I first got sober, my sponsor was like, you've got to get sober for you. And I was like, well, I'm not, though. I'm getting sober for my son. At first, when I first started even trying to do anything different, I started doing it because of my son. My son was my motivation to change. Y'all know what I mean? And it's like, that's what we have to find. We have to find something that motivates us to make that change. And then once we make the decision, okay, then we have to follow through with the change. It's so easy to say, I'll get sober tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. Put it off till tomorrow, you know? And then tomorrow never comes. What if tomorrow never comes because you die? Stop saying that you'll get sober tomorrow. Why don't you make the decision and get sober today? And if you are sober, and you're struggling and you are falling back in your old behaviors, if that's you, then make the changes. You know, I talked to my friend. I don't know if you guys saw, my friend commented the other day that she lost her dad. Her dad passed away. Her name's Andrea. And so I called her today and I said, well, you know, I know your dad just passed away, but are you staying sober? And she said, yes. And I said, are you sure? You know, because the moment that we become complacent and stop doing what keeps us sober, that's when we will fall back, you guys. I know I get on here and I kind of like talk a lot about, you know, how we have to follow through. And it's like, I'm going to give you examples of following through. Like, following through is waking up, doing your prayer. I turning your will over in the morning, like we do. Putting your feet on the ground, making a conscious effort and saying, today I'm going to live in my sobriety. Today I'm going to work my recovery out. Then go out through your day, hit a meeting, journal, read some literature. If you guys don't have NA or AA big books, go get you one. If you don't want to do AA or NA, then go get you the Russell Brand. This Russell Brand Recovery from Addiction book. It is so good, you guys. Oops, sorry. There you go. This book right here. And start reading and start journaling, okay? Start doing a meditation during the day. All it takes is 10 minutes out of your day. Each and every one of you could be doing these things. Okay. And what these things do is they help us stay on track, you guys. Because of you guys give me purpose. I'm always looking up and trying to learn something new so I can come over here and tell you guys about it. Okay. So you know how we make a decision to turn our will over, right? You're okay, Sam. So, you know, when during the holidays, I always think about the past and what I was like back then, you know? It's hard, you guys. It makes me kind of sad, but I'm glad that I have the ability to reflect on my life back then and use it as a tool, you know? So, let's see. So, honestly, tell someone trustworthy about how fucked you are. We admitted to God and to ourselves and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. The first time I did step 5, it was with my second mentor. I identified primarily as a drug addict, and he was an alcoholic, but it made no difference. The feelings we were dealing with seemed to be uniform. I had 50 or 60 pages of A4 paper covered with dense writing and dense feelings. Some of these resentments I had written were appalling and shameful, and I thought I was severed from redemption forever. Some were so petty and insignificant, I was embarrassed that I even remembered them. How many of you guys have felt like some of the things that you've done in your life were unforgivable? How many of you think that, like, there's no turning back for you, there's no hope for you? Do you ever feel like that? Because if you feel like there's no hope and there's no turning back, let me be the first one to tell you that you are wrong. If a dope fiend like me can get sober and turn her will over and change her life, then you guys can too. Never think that you have done anything that is unforgivable. It doesn't even matter, you guys. You can be restored from a hopeless state of mind and body, just like me. And you can wake up every morning feeling like you have conquered something. Yeah, and so that's what we have to do. We have to fight those negative feelings that are telling us that we're never going to make it and we're not good enough and we might as well not even get sober. I used to get the fuck it syndromes all the time. I know, Carrie. And that's the thing. Me and Sam were talking last night about detox, and she's willing to go into detox. You know, Sam, I called and left a message with that place this morning, but I didn't hear back from them today. But I was at work all day, so I'm going to check my voicemails when I get off here. You know, Carrie, Sam, is it okay if I share with Carrie? Sam has been trying to detox herself, but she's been really struggling with it. So I think that we're gonna get her into detox. And she wants to go into therapy, so she's willing to do it. And that's the main thing, you guys. It's like you just got to make that decision and realize, like, everything that you're afraid to lose or that you think's not going to be there, it will all be there when you get out, girl. I promise you that. It'll all be there when you get out. Okay. One by one, I read them out, admitting my wrongs to God, myself, and to another human being. As it transpired, we were in a beautiful house in Malibu. I was about to start work on the film, Get Him to the Greek. I was giddy and elated, but somehow still dissatisfied, and after 5 years of trundling along as a sex addict, I was now willing to surrender further. Hold on. I saw you guys commenting. Thank you, guys, and thank you, Nicole. I kind of had a talk with my hubby about understanding what it means. Jamie, that is awesome. And you know, Jamie, you know, did you talk to him and tell him that needing help is not weak? Actually reaching out and asking for help is the most courageous, strong, and selfless thing that he'll ever do. And if he needs help with anything at all, you can tell him that he can get a hold of me and I will help you guys in any way I can. If he wants to do intensive outpatient therapy, we can find him that. If he wants to go into inpatient, we can find him that. Yeah? Okay, sweetheart. Thank you. It was a beautiful environment to be working in, but irrelevant in the sense that the majority of my time, maybe 14 hours a day, was spent hunched over the pages of this inventory and untangling memories and committing them to the page. So I don't know if you guys know, but whenever you do your fourth and fifth step, what you do is you write down, it's like a case history of all the good, the bad, and the ugly. When I did mine, they give us these graphs. My sponsor gave me these columns. And basically the columns are the person, what they did or what you feel like they did, what instinct that affects, and where your part was in it. Same time, medically, and you can do it. You will never want to go back. That's right, Carrie. And so here's the deal. I know that Sherry, I think she saw my comment about tapering. So in January, you guys, I want to taper, and I want to start January 6th is my taper, when I'm going to start. Now, I don't know how long it's going to take me to taper completely off, but I just want to try to do it, you know, and then if I can do it, then I can come on here and tell you guys about how I did it, you know. But you guys will see me because I'm going to upload videos every day of my experience and how I'm feeling. And I'm going to be straight up honest with you guys. But I feel like I just need to try it at least, you know. And if I can't do it, I will get back on, y'all. Don't even trip. I am not going to go back to drugs and alcohol. I will not lose everything I worked so hard for. If I start to feel like I'm struggling and I want to get high, I will go back to the doctor and get put back on it. I'm not even going to lose everything I've worked so hard for. I am determined. And I have all you guys to help me and hold me accountable. And so that's why I think I'm going to be really successful. I had chosen my mentor because he was... Nate. I had chosen my mentor because he was a charming and articulate bad man. I could tell he knew the darkness, and he had 10 years more experience than I did. He was an empathetic and kind man, but not a sage or a shaman, not a blanket-draped, white-eyed, mountain-dwelling yogi. Just a drunk who had found a way not to drink one day at a time. Like me, like you, he was still mad, but the program is not mad. The program is a map out of madness for anyone who wants to follow it. I recited the list. Column 1, I resent. Column 2, the resentment itself. Column 3, how it affected me. And that's the same way I had done mine. The recitation had an impact that for me transcended rational understanding. To hear myself air all these secret fears and hatreds, these insecurities punctured the membrane of isolation I had lived in. To see the pattern of repeated... Whenever I first started realizing, like, that when I was in my addiction, all the negative behaviors that I practiced, like, such as, like, stealing, lying, cheating, adultery, oh gosh, you guys, the list goes on and on. Just not being a good person, and like being able to see these behaviors and knowing that I can work on them, and I don't have to be like that ever again. Like, sure, I make mistakes, you guys. Everybody does, but for the most part, I feel good about the choices I'm making today. You know? And for the longest time, I didn't feel good about my choices. Like, my choices weren't even really choices. They were forced on me by drug addiction. Like, my drug addiction chose. Then I tried. And you know what, Jamie? I'm the same way, girl. Like, listen to me, okay? You and your husband can work through this. And that's part of being someone who's in recovery. Now, listen. It's a lot easier for someone who is on the outside looking in to say, Jamie, you need to leave your husband. He's not good for your recovery. It's a lot easier for someone to say that. But here's how I look at it. Neil is not affecting my recovery at all. And I'm supposed to be loving and tolerant. And he's my best friend, y'all. He's my husband. I'm going to love him through sickness and in health. Okay? Now, if he comes up in here with dope and a syringe, then you better believe I'm kicking his ass out. But you know what? I love him, and I'm going to help him through the hard times. You guys, it's different whenever you've been married to your husband for 23 years or when you're just boyfriend and girlfriend who met in the rehab center. It's totally different, you guys. Do I recommend going and meeting somebody in a rehab romance? Hell to the no! It will never work out. It is horrible. It's the worst decision you ever made. Right. Okay, so you hear that? Michelle said her husband gave her 5 last chances. And if they can make it through it, anybody can. And see, that's the thing, Michelle. Well, the way I feel about it with my husband is he's my best friend. I love him. I'm going to be here for him, and I'm going to help him through the hard times. I'm strong enough in my recovery to know that I can't save him, but I can definitely be a support system. Wait to get in a few days. And Michelle, you are doing so great. You guys, Michelle is actually working on the website for me, and she's like designing it and everything. So if you guys, whenever she gets it up and running or whatever, she's going to let me know. And then we're going to get you guys and we're going to start doing all kinds of fun stuff. What, baby?
Can I get a green shirt on?
Yeah, go get yourself a green shirt. Go talk to your daddy.
Daddy? Hey,
Yeah,
Dad!
oh, what did I say? Yes, David. Nicole knows what's up. I'm with someone who's in recovery too. And see, that's the thing, you guys. Like I said, it's a lot easier for someone to say, like, oh, you need to leave him. But what about all the people, okay? If everybody had left us, oh my. There we go. If everybody had left us whenever we were struggling, where would we be at today? Now, no, if you are in early recovery, I do not think you need to go out to your best friend's house who is shooting heroin and try to help her get sober. Absolutely not. If you do want to help someone who's in active addiction, you need to take someone else with you who has got more sober time than you do. And the best thing to do is to just invite somebody to a meeting with you guys, or send them over here to the channel and let them come hang out with us. And Sam, do you hear Carrie? She says if you ever need anything to reach out to her. We always text Carrie on Instagram, and we also have a Hangouts. So if you want to, if you'll join, if you'll get signed on to Google Hangouts, we'll add you to the Hangouts chat. But so Michelle's working on a website, you guys. She's bought the domains. We got all the domains. We got Real Talk. We got a bunch of them. We got about 6 domains. So we're gonna have we'll have the majority, and then when you Google up recovery, we'll pop up. As long as everyone is safe, especially young kids. Right, and that's the thing, you guys, case-by-case basis. Everybody's situation is going to be different. But, like, for Jamie, with you and your husband, y'all have been together for 23 years. I really just want to tell you, Jamie, that you have to lead by example for him. You have to show him what recovery is about. And when he sees you growing and flourishing and maturing in your recovery, then hopefully he'll see you and he'll want to join in too. Do you know what I mean? Include him on things. Invite him over to the channel. We got 7 domains. Woo! Woo! And that's the thing, Jamie. But for the grace of God, there go I. But for the grace of God, there go I. It could be any one of us, any day. I could walk out tomorrow and go slam heroin and die. The disease of addiction is cunning, baffling, and powerful. It will creep up on you like a lion in the thick. It will jump on you when you least expect it. So, that's why instead of being judgmental, instead of talking shit, instead of throwing out our opinions, that's why we love and support addicts and alcoholics, and we open our arms to them and invite them. Come, be with us. Come hang out at our house. Let's do this. Let's go to a meeting. You guys, I cannot tell you how many times I've had people that are in recovery basically look at me and say, oh, it gets me every time. So let's talk about Suboxone, because I know you guys were asking about my taper. So for the last 2 years, I've been wanting to taper, but it was all for the wrong reasons. For the last 2 years, I wanted to taper because I felt like everybody was making fun of me. I felt like people were saying my recovery wasn't valid, that I wasn't sober, that I couldn't claim clean time. Every time I would meet somebody that was sober, I would tell them my recovery, about my story, and then they would look at me and say, how long have you been on that? You're not going to stay on that forever, are you? You know you need to get off that, right? You know, that's crazy to be on that for that long. What? In fact, last night, you guys, I was watching a girl here on YouTube, and I just couldn't help myself. She said that she thinks it's crazy that people are on maintenance for over a year. And it's ignorant opinions like this that keep that stigma going. We are all drug addicts and alcoholics. We are all just trying to do better than we were the day before and stay sober and not die. Why do alcoholics and addicts who are abstaining from drugs and alcohol, who are abstinent, think that they are somehow superior to someone who is not abstinent? I don't understand that. Does anybody know why? Why does a person who is abstinent feel like they have to ask somebody? Yes, nicely done. So I watched this girl's video last night. I'm not even going to say her name because I don't even watch all it. Go to her channel. It was so aggravating because I could see that, like, I'm better than them kind of vibe. She was like, it's crazy. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm sorry. I know y'all can see my face, but it's crazy. It's like, why is it crazy that somebody needs extra help staying sober? Why is that crazy? That I've been in therapy for 3 years and working the 12 steps and going to meetings and building my recovery, and now I have a strong foundation. Why is that crazy? It actually makes complete sense. Why would you just put somebody on it and then yank them off of it without any foundation? Like, they're starting to realize now that 30-day treatment centers, they don't work out. You go in there, you get out after 30 days, and people are relapsing right away. Because you cannot do any kind of work on your insides, and that's where your addiction is an internal problem. Your addiction is using drugs and alcohol was the solution to the feelings that we could not cope with. So how is 30 days of treatment going to cure anything or help anything? It doesn't. It doesn't even get you started, you guys. It is like the tip of the iceberg. So a person who is on maintenance, who goes on to maintenance and then is kept on it for 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, it just depends on how much wreckage of their drug addiction past they have. I had fines, I had legal issues, I had DHS in my life that took my child, so I had to work to get him back. I had the court system, I had taking a job, I had to, y'all, all these things that were stressors that I didn't know how to do them. I had to learn how to do all these things over again. So I was on Suboxone to help me stay sober. Right. So Carrie, this girl I was watching last night, she's like, basically just says that it's crazy and that she thinks that it's replacing heroin. And that's where it makes me so angry, because anybody who watches my channel and sees me will know that I am in no way high on drugs or replacing heroin or Roxy's with Suboxone. I don't even feel it. Suboxone is such an awesome drug because of the way it attaches to the opioid receptors and because of the way it plateaus out, that you cannot get high. The only way you can get high on Suboxone is if you skip doses. You have to skip doses for like 3 days and go into withdrawal. Hey, April. So when people are like, you know, oh, well, yeah, a lot of people who are opiate addicts relapse after relapse after relapse after relapse. So when they get on Suboxone, they actually have that small amount of opiate going to the receptors, so that way they can work on their life. And while they build that shit up, then when they taper off, they are successful. as afflicted by addiction as a drug addict. There's so much. Oh, it does, April. Alcohol is the same as drug addiction. And it's the same way with alcoholics. A lot of alcoholics are the same way. They think that because they're only an alcoholic, that they're somehow superior to drug addicts. Just like the abstinence people think they're somehow superior to maintenance people. And you know what, you guys? It all comes down to fear and that social instinct. A lot of these people are insecure, and the reason they have to project and talk about someone who's on maintenance and say how they think it's crazy that somebody's on maintenance for over a year is because they're insecure. It's not crazy. It makes absolute complete sense, because while that person is on maintenance, they are building a support system. They are working the 12 steps. If they're in a 12-step fellowship, they are going to therapy. They are having major breakthroughs, you guys, and then they are able to stay sober when they get off, instead of just being put on and then yanked off. Right, and we were all the same, but then it's just so strange to me, you guys, because I guess I never would have gotten on Suboxone if it wasn't for my son being taken away. And I probably wouldn't have never gotten sober, because my experience without Suboxone was me relapsing over and over again all the time. And that was experience. Y'all, I've been to 5 treatment centers, prison for a year, and I could not, and then 3 different halfway houses in between all that. And I kept relapsing. And so what Suboxone has done for me is it's given me the stability with the cravings to be able to build a foundation and get my recovery going. Like, y'all, I'm telling you, listen, I don't recommend for anybody to get put on Suboxone, because I think that Suboxone should be the last thing that you do. If you're struggling, try to get sober with abstinence first. But once you give it a good college try, and you try to get sober through abstinence, and if you fail, then I think that maintenance might be a good idea for you. But that is up to you, and that's for you to decide. You have got to make that decision for yourself. Like, nobody can make it for you. But that's the thing. Like, people who don't take maintenance, it's like, don't talk about it. I don't care what your opinion is. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're not on maintenance, and don't worry about us over here. We're living our best life, working our recovery. We're not over there talking about you. It just makes me upset, you guys, because it's like, that's the stigma that people keep keeping it alive. It really is nobody's business, Carrie. And that's the thing. Like, if we weren't so honest and I didn't volunteer that information, then nobody would even know that I was on maintenance. But I was honest, because that's what my recovery teaches me. My recovery teaches me to be honest. And so I opened myself up and I said, look at me up. And you know what? I'm grateful that I did, because it brought me all of you. And now I have this wonderful platform where I get to meet other people who have been through the same things I've been through. And I'm glad I told y'all. I'm glad that I'm glad I let people know I was on maintenance. I used to be really, really ashamed, you guys. But the longer I think about it, the more I'm like, you know what? I did the right thing. I'm transparent, and I'm sharing my true journey. And I'm proud of you guys. And that's why I'm saying, like, when I go to taper in January, I will be honest, and I will share everything with you guys. And if it's so horrible, I will tell you it's so horrible. But if it's not, I'm going to tell you guys. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it, Sherry, at all. But what happens is, you have people that think that being on a medically assisted treatment is somehow less than. I don't know. Like, I don't understand it. Like, I know so many people who, I'm going to be on medicine for the rest of my life. I'm on antidepressants, and I'm going to be on those for the rest of my life. I have to take them. If I don't, my brain isn't right. I have a chemical imbalance. Just like I have a chemical imbalance with that, I have a chemical imbalance because of the opiates that I stuck in my body for so long. My brain is never going to recover from that, you guys. It's true. You know, the reason I told people that I was on Suboxone, a lot of you guys are new and haven't really heard. So I was on Facebook, and I had just got my year sober. And I was really, really involved in the recovery community on Facebook. And right at my year sober, I started doing videos. I started making videos about, I was doing morning meditations. And someone invited me on their page, which was this huge recovery page, you guys, to share my story. Well, I went live for about an hour and 20 minutes and shared my whole story. And at the end, I told everybody about being on Suboxone. And if you could have seen the people, how it separated people. There was people who were like, we're so proud of you, blah, blah, blah. And then there were my friends who I thought were my friends who were in AA and who were abstinent, who basically looked at me and told me, well, you know, you're not sober. And that's when I knew, like, I don't want any recovery that you have. If your recovery tells you that you need to tell me I'm not sober, I don't want what you got. Because you know what? That's a miserable old bitch. I'm not like that, you guys. I'm proud of each and every one of you. And if you made the decision to change your life and even try to get off dope, and you decided to get on maintenance, I am damn proud of you. Because I know how hard it was for me to fucking even come to that decision, to even change my life to where I am today. It took me freaking 10 years of back and forth bullshit to get to where I am today, to actually care about myself enough to make a change. So the kind of recovery I want is the kind of recovery that you see the person and they're happy, joyous, and free, and they are helpful and loving and kind and honest and respectful, and they have a big heart. That's what I want. And that's what I look for when I'm looking for friends and people that I want to hang out with. I look for open-minded people who are honest and willing, and who, open-mindedness is so important to me, you guys, because you know what? Recovery is not just black and white. There are definite gray areas. So, anyway, I love you guys. I'm going to get off here. I'm going to go see Neil. He just got home from work. But I just wanted to talk with you guys about that. And I hope you guys have a great day. I love each and every one of you. And thank you so much for subscribing to my channel and being a part of this family with me. If you know anybody that you think would be interested in hanging out and coming over to the channel, invite them over. And if you guys need me, you can always email me, follow me on Instagram and Twitter, so that way we can talk with each other. And I love y'all, and I hope y'all have a great night. And y'all, give Michelle a round of applause for getting on that website for me and helping us out. Hey, 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 go Michelle. Hey, Vegan Cheetah. Hey, Charlie. It's so odd I can't see you in that darkness because you just... So, you know, listen, I'm telling you guys, Sam, when I was in my addiction, I was nothing to be fucked with. I was a straight ass criminal bitch. I would take you down through there. I would steal your dope and help you look for it. Like, I'm not even lying to you guys. I'm so proud of... Listen, Michelle. You guys, Michelle she's doing the damn thing. She is not taking Xanax, and I'm so proud of her. And this is giving, Michelle is working on this website, and this is what I'm talking about, you guys. Like, this is that purpose, okay? Find your purpose. Find something that drives you to stay on the right track. It doesn't matter what it is. If it's building a website for somebody, if it's helping people who are in recovery, if it's like, okay, like Charlie, if it's bringing the news and pumping his channel up, you guys, like that's what we have to do. We have to find our purpose. Just like my purpose, I found my purpose. It's in this channel and being a mom. That is my life, you guys. Right. Slow down, be mindful, and look inside yourself. That was the best thing that I ever could have done, you guys. And I am so grateful for each and every one of you. Each and every one of you help me stay sober every single day. And I will forever be grateful for that. I never thought that I would ever be able to stop shooting up. I never thought it. I thought I was going to die with a needle in my arm. So I am just so grateful to you guys. And even if you don't think it, each one of you play a significant part in my recovery. And I am so grateful for you guys. And staying positive and just focused on my purpose is the main thing. Sam.
Hey, that pizza's really good. You should try it.
Okay, I love you. Today, okay, I'm going to get off here, you guys. I love y'all so much. Charlie, I saw your video the other day. You use this. I'm not going to write you out. Proud of you guys. Charlie, I'm proud of you too. 9 months is awesome. Keep pushing forward. Here's the deal, okay, with Charlie. Do not let these crazy ass people that are hating on you affect your recovery. Do not let people speak that negative shit to you, and do not let your mind believe it. Because once you hear people talking negative like that to you for so long, your mind starts to fucking believe it. You need to start going into your YouTube comments, Charlie, and blocking out certain words that cannot be said. Okay? You need to make sure that you have people that monitor those comments and bump those people out. Because no person should have to put up with that shit. But I'm proud of you for being able to get through it. Because I'm telling you right now, I will not put up with it over here. But anyway, I love you guys so much. I hope you all have a great night. If you need me, you guys know how to get a hold of me. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter, or text me. Most of you know my phone number. And if you don't, well, just email me or Instagram me. All right.